Hello everyone and welcome back to the Marketing Empress. If you're new here, my name is Samradni and I create content on all things marketing. Today with this video, we are starting a new series on the channel, that of marketing book summaries. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to read a particular book and learn something out of it, but found it too bulky? Well, don't worry. We make things easier for you. On this channel and through these series, we will include and incorporate book summaries from various marketing books with Indian brand examples so that your learning is top notch. Today we'll be covering the book This is Marketing by Seth Godin. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon so that the next time any marketing book summary is uploaded, you get notified. So without further ado, let's get started. Marketing is everywhere. So the question that arises is, can you escape it? Or rather, do you want to escape it? The answer to this question is both yes and no. For generations now, marketing has been taken for granted. It's come to the point where there's just so much of advertising and marketing all around that you fail to distinguish between what is actually marketed to you and what is not. Precisely why the book This is Marketing highlights the need to look at marketing from a different perspective. The best part about the book is that it's blunt. It will not make you feel proud of what marketing efforts you're incorporating right now. Rather, it will make you pause and relook at things from a different angle. In this video, we will cover the top 10 learnings from the book This is Marketing by Seth Godin, and we will add brand examples to each of them. For most of my life, marketing was advertising. And then it wasn't true anymore. So tell me, what is the difference between marketing and advertising? This is the one question that's been asked almost in every interview, be it for a B school interview or for a job interview. And I realized over a period of time that the answer to this question holds so much importance. It's important for marketers to understand that advertising is just a small part of the entire umbrella of marketing. And that's important to understand because our job does not end when we buy ads online and put our product out there. It includes a lot more. It's all about understanding the customer need and what the product provides. So it starts with understanding what your product can provide to the consumer and what are the needs that the consumer has. It's about bridging the gap in between, if any. Low price is the last refuge of a marketer who has run out of generous ideas. If nothing else works, discounts definitely will. It's important to understand that Indian consumers are price sensitive. There's no denying that. But just the cheapest product may not always be the consumer's best bet. And it's important for marketers to understand and derive at a price point which one helps the consumers pick that product over the others and also helps them feel like they've made the right choice. Remember the case of poor man's car in case of Tata Nano? That's an example or one of the biggest examples of communication gone wrong. What you say isn't nearly as important as what others say about you. This is where your game changes and your positioning strategy is put to best use. Consumers are bombarded with messages on a daily basis, and hence, as marketers, we need to be aware of what is it that we can do to distinguish ourselves from our competitors. The best way to do this is to look out for customer ambassadors. These are people who can promote your brand for you and make it sound really authentic. Please do not get confused with customer ambassadors and brand ambassadors. These are two different things. Customer ambassador is someone who has been using your product and is someone just like you and me. and have been liking the product to the extent that I can recommend it to another friend. Whereas a brand ambassador is having a celebrity on board, wherein I need to pay the person to talk really good things about my brand. So that's different. One point to note here is that of testimonial advertising. In the case of testimonial advertising, what you end up doing is that you take people who already like your product and make them talk about it in your advertising campaign. The best example that I can think of is in the case of Colgate. Colgate for years has been a brand that's trusted by Indian consumers, and they use this to their advantage by using a lot of testimonial advertising. We see a mother talking to the camera and telling other mothers that Colgate is the right bet for you, your family and your kids. That holds a lot of importance in the minds of consumers because I am looking at someone who is just like me and is talking about something that's worked for her family. The chances for it to work for my family are also a lot more. It's better to be market driven as against marketing driven. Market driven lasts, and let me tell you how. If your focus is solely marketing driven, what you're doing is that you are putting an ad campaign out there to the general public or your consumer specifically, and you're looking for more engagement, you're looking for more sales, etc. But this may not work in the long run because eventually what you're looking out for is making that clear distinction point between you and your competitors. Whereas when you're market driven, you're taking into consideration a lot more things which are in sync with your target market. One brand that captures this beautifully is the case of Dove. Now, Dove is a soap which has been used for years and years together by Indian consumers, and their advertising has been quite unique and different in comparison to soaps in general. They do not talk about, the beauty that you can get after you use their soap or something like that. It's more so related to how you need to embrace the natural beauty you're born with. And that's a clear distinction that they've made with respect to their target market and other soaps in the same category. I made this is a very different statement than what do you want? As marketers, we need to understand that our customer or consumer is more interested in figuring out or looking for a brand that is personal or unique to him or her. What do I mean when I say that it has to be personal or unique to him or her? It has to be in sync with what the person believes, their values or their associations have been, and the brand needs to sink in just perfectly. One brand example that I can think of which incorporated this learning to the very best is that of Lenskart. Now, before the brand was introduced, you and me visited an optician or a doctor to check our eye power, to understand whether we needed glasses or not. Now, what did Lenskart do? When Lenskart entered the market, what they tried to do is that they tried to build in a 3D feature wherein by just taking a photograph, you can decide whether a particular spectacle frame works or looks good on you. Now that is a brand trying to make itself unique to a consumer. It's better to walk away from the ocean and look out for a large swimming pool. Not every product is meant for everyone. And that's where the concept of segmentation, targeting and positioning comes in. I will have a separate video on that later on the channel. But what I'm trying to focus on here is that you need to make your audience very specific. Narrower your audience, the better result you can expect. One brand that did this beautifully was Kellogg's Special K. Now, they were not only targeting women, they were targeting women who wanted to lose weight during or in a shorter duration. So that works really well for a brand. It shows respect for those you seek to serve to say to them, I made this for you, not for the other folks. Completely okay to exclude a set of consumers from your branding or your communication. See, understand that humans have this psychological need to feel special. They want to feel unique and they want to feel different from the rest. This works exceptionally well in the case of brands which are luxury driven. So for example, if I were marketing something in regards to BMW, now I know it's a high-end car brand. I cannot be releasing an marketing or an advertising communication that focuses on the masses. I will need my communication to be very specific to the high-end consumers. And this specificness comes in when I know that the ad communicates pride of owning a BMW car. That needs to come through very easily through your communication. Much for what we take for granted in our marketing toolbox was considered a risky innovation just a few generations ago. Now, this is so important to understand. More often than not, we have this fear around innovation. We try to stick to those mediums and those forms of communication which have already been used by brands over a period of time. Why? Because, hey, that's worked in their favor. It's more likely to work in my favor as well. But that's where we go wrong. Consumers may be looking out for something that is unique and that's innovative as well. So if you put in your first step in understanding how innovation works in your favor, it can benefit you in the long run. Having worked in the advertising field myself, I have never skipped an advertising commercial, be it on YouTube or on TV. Because I know the amount of efforts that have gone in while designing a particular ad campaign. But not everyone has worked in advertising and not everyone appreciates the effort. So it's always important to understand that advertising on a specific channel may not always work in your favor. Your consumers may not even be present there. So always be on the lookout to approach and look at new mediums where your communication can stand out as compared to the rest. Always be wondering. Always be testing. Always be willing to treat different people differently. If you don't, they'll find someone who will. No two people are the same. How amazing would it be if I could say the same thing about brands? But well, not all is lost and we can still make that happen. Your brand needs to bring in a uniqueness that is specific to your brand only and makes you stand apart. One of the brands that established this particular proposition and harped on it really well is in the case of Patanjali. Now, when Patanjali was introduced in the market, we were surrounded by chemical-led products and not many of us focused on the natural ingredients that could give us similar or better benefits. Patanjali introduced the Swadeshi feel, that is, Made in India Connect, that resonated so well with the consumers, and the Ayurvedic feel made it even better. Patanjali clearly made a unique stand-apart point in comparison to their competition. The path is to have someone care enough about you and what you create that they'll type in your name, that they'll be looking for you, not a generic alternative. And this, I think, is the best learning that I have derived from this lovely book. You need to be something that someone else is not. And I wish for this to happen with the Marketing Empress as well. I want to be unique. I want to be personal at the same time. I want to be relatable. Relatable to the extent that you guys want to subscribe for more. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something out of the video. If you did, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and share the same with your friends. And while you're at it, let me know in the comments box down below which other book is your favorite in the marketing zone and I can possibly review the same for you. So until next time, bye bye.